Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Soft Power Project. Today, I wanted to share with you something I've been meaning to share with you for a long time. I've been thinking about this for a year now. And as you know, I am a communication trainer. I've taught a lot of clients from the C-suite level, their founders, their CEOs, on simply how to acquire better communication skills and how to perform in a way they want to perform at work. And I think it was around end of 2024 that I decided that I needed to take a little step back from being a trainer and observed a little bit more. So communication training is becoming more of a side business as opposed to my full-time job. And there's a reason why, because I've been observing and I realized that there are a lot of issues that's happening around us, especially in the workplace, in the leadership level. There are a lot of issues there, cannot be solved with better communication. I'm using air quotes here because I think most of us think about better communication as in different phrasing. How do I phrase things better? How do I make it punchier? Maybe it's a different timing. Maybe it's my tone of voice, right? That's the better communication skills that most of us think about. And I realized that they're simply not communication problems. But what are they? They are ego problems. There are so many decisions made in the C-suite level and the leadership level that are from the place of ego. Now, if you're making decisions, the people are making decisions from the place of ego. What they don't want is truth. They don't want responsibility. They don't want to grow. What they want is validation, win, and lots of credits. And I think a lot of us gets frustrated because of, a lot of my clients, they came to me because they wanted to improve themselves. They are the hard worker. They put so much effort and energy. They really believed in the company. They really believed in their team and wanted to change. But they feel stuck because no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, they still couldn't get their message across. There seems to be something that's missing. And they think it's because communications, because they're not doing enough. So they want to acquire better skills. And I have so much respect for them for this. So we started to really dive into, okay, so what's the problem? Like, what is the issue? What does that sound like? Instead of just telling me what you really want, in terms of wanting better communication, but tell me about what is the communication problem that you're actually having at work? So when we start to really break it down, the truth is that their leaders are acting from the space of ego. They don't want to learn. They don't want to change. They don't want the truth. And the truth is that when people are operating from the space of ego, they are not listening. Now, here's my question again. What do you do after that? Right? In this day and age, it's not so easy to change jobs anymore. There's so many layoffs happening. Do you want to give up this secure source of income? Probably not. So knowing what you already know about this dynamic of the organization, what can you do? And this is really when I started asking my clients, okay, why do you want them to validate you? Why do you want to convince them? Why do you want it to persuade them? Is it validation? Do you need a pat on the back? And I think that's a very legitimate thing to want, right? That's a legit feelings that you wanted to have in the workplace. But let's be more creative. How else can you get that validation? And that's really when a lot of self-discovery comes in. And I also ask them to really define how they want to feel at the end of the day, knowing that this is the reality. That's a dynamic that you're having at work. A lot of them tell me things like freedom. I wanted to feel peace. I wanted to feel valuable. And then let's just take freedom as an example. I would have them to define, what does freedom feel like in the morning? Is it waking up in the morning and first thing you do is reach the phone and reply all these messages? Or is it more like you handle everything with your family and then you have your morning routine, then you go to the office, get your cup of coffee, and then you reply the message? Is it skipping lunch? Or you still take, within an hour, have something healthy, go walk a little bit around the building, and then sit down and work? Is it, hanging out in the office till super late because you feel like your boss may or may not need you that day? Or you get off work in a reasonable time and have your downtime? So we started to really dive into like the specifics. What is it that you actually want, knowing that this is the situation, knowing that that may not change? And here's the real work, is to set boundaries. Because a lot of the clients of mine, when they work so hard and they're a hard worker, they wanted to change things, they believed in the company, chances are they haven't really thought about boundaries at work. And it's really not their fault, because I think who wants to walk into a place being so ready to set boundaries? So they have to kind of learn from scratch. Okay, so what do you not want? What's the line? Where is the line? Maybe the line is no phone calls after 8 p.m. Or maybe the line is no message before 8 a.m. Set a line, set a boundaries. What are the non-negotiables? And really follow through. And this is really when my clients start to feel really much better about the life and the workplace, knowing that a lot of dynamics may not be changed right away. So I really hope that you guys can listen to this episode and share this with your friend who are currently having this issue at work. My heart goes out to you. I understand it's incredibly frustrating, but there is a way that we could make this work, even when there is a lot of decision making from the egocentric and the very ego space. There is a way that we could define our own peace, because peace is the most important thing. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.